Because see, look, sometimes when you say to me, this happened because of you, right? I mean, like, I'm mad because of something you did, I did, right?
Okay, not quite, but
just, I'm using that as an example, right?
I know I don't quite say that, but okay.
Okay, but
but use it as a premise.
That's what
for
I
something.
hear. That's what I hear. So forget
Well,
what you
that's
say.
different, right?
I know.
Like I say X, you listen Y. That's
Correct.
Something happens when I say X, that you hear Y. That has to do with how we filter our listening,
Yes.
not what I said. But okay, what I say occurs to you as it's your fault, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And let's say in that moment, I disagree that it's my fault.
Okay.
Right. If I start arguing, yeah, but it's not my fault, or maybe no, it's not with something I did, it's what you did. Nothing gets resolved, and things just escalate.
Okay.
Right? But what I've found is when I take on it's all my fault or it's all because of me, or whether I believe it or not in the moment, right? I'm usually able to either de-escalate me or de-escalate the situation.
Got it.
So basically, it's all my fault. As a creative, and fault is the wrong word, but it's like I can put myself at the source of it all as a created point of view, and when I do that, it allows me to do something about the situation.
I think I get what you mean. I was going to say something, but I want to make sure is that are you just sharing that, or do you want me to say something to it, or like how do you want me to listen
You
to
can.
what you just said?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I have learned that concept of taking responsibility as the willingness to be a cause in a matter of your life. I got that from Landmark, as did you probably. But it's not until much later that I fully got what that means. And you see, in life, there are things like, well, something happens or somebody comes and does something, literally. So in that sense, like the fault comes in, like, no, it's not your fault, but if you are the one who tipped this down, you're the one who did it.
Right.
Now I can look into why I put it there, but in that sense, fault exists. I think in reality, there's like, we all do what we do. But where I used to get caught up often was in looking at a specific situation and seeing if in that moment I did something. And because of, I think, our ego inclination to try and be a good girl and try to be a good person and all that kind of stuff, I would know without a shadow of a doubt that I didn't do anything in that moment. So when people come at me for something, like, I would fight it. What I got years later, and in one of my trainings, as you know, and you know with whom, I got, for the first time ever, I realized it's not like it's my fault, and I'm not doing anything wrong right now, and what I did was not wrong. Like, I could stand by what I did and how I did it and all of that. But I realized that the reason that the person is reacting to me is because of how I've been with that person all along. So it was not situational. It was more
historical, almost.
But historical, in a sense that, if people are reacting to you one way, you can't just be like, well, I didn't do anything. no, it's who you be with that person all along that needs to be completed or
Yeah.
cleaned up fully in order to really have a clean slate to create a new relationship.
Yeah.
So when I say something even to you that like you feel like, oh, it's always my fault, it actually really robs me when you do that. It robs me of immediately, actually, what I get from that is it's all my fault. Somehow me expressing that something doesn't work becomes I'm a perpetrator. And it shocks me energetically. It just totally paralyzes me. Like, oh, it's always my fault. Then I go like, okay, so I'm the perpetrator. And again, like I'm just really tagging on and talking a lot of stuff that I think will not be understandable, but perpetrators and victims are always like so tightly interrelated. Like your perpetrators are victims are perpetrators. It's like, it takes everything to shift out of the
Right.
energy and stay in your energy, in your lane. So when I experience people who feel that it's all their fault, to me, it always reads like a make wrong. It's only when whatever I say just gets heard and received, even when it comes with the edge, because the edge is not personal to you. Like, I mean, in a case of like a microphone, for example, what just happened earlier, in a case of that, like I was just, the annoyance just came through me. And I wasn't annoyed with you. I was annoyed with, there's way I do things and there's like what I'm responsible for. And then now there's something else I have to deal with. So it's not your fault that you brought that in. You can actually just be curious as to, wow, like that's weird. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't think that way. And then, if you got my world as to why that is, you would not think that it's your fault or it's not your fault or that it's my fault. Like you would just be able to like let my upset move through. I think a lot of people in my life anyway have not been able to be with my upset. I get upset over something, and it's usually because that's how harsh I am with myself.
I get
And
it.
that comes from the past.
Yeah.
So if people don't react to that, it just goes away. When people react to it, then I now have to deal with how I offended you or whatever, and I don't get to clear myself. So that's what happens. Long story, right?
Yeah.
But that's what happens in the whole, that's how the pattern works. And I can see it, but it takes something to digest things. It's like, you have a nice meal, but it takes a while to digest it. You don't just digest it right away or start seeing impact of taking vitamins. It takes time. So these kind of patterns in humanity and learning things takes time. So I accept that, I'm gonna react sometimes and own it, but I will react sometimes.
Yeah.
It's human. So
Yeah, it's interesting that you say the word accept, because as you were talking, I was trying to remember the situation, and when you had that upset, it literally, what I heard and how it lived for me is exactly like it was my fault, right? And I mean, we don't have a recording, I think I even heard the words of why, you do that, or why did you do that, or you shouldn't have done that, like some version of that, right? Which centers it over here for me, right? And what I was saying at the beginning of this video, where I get power for myself, is that word, when I accept that it's my fault, whether that's true in reality or not, and not like a victim, but that you were upset because of the microphone. The only reason why the microphone is here for you to be upset at, in this case, is because I brought the microphone. Hence, irrelevant of my intention, or do you know what I mean? Like I can say, well, forget the word fault, but I can say I'm the source of it, right?
Yeah.
And accepting that you're upset until you're not. But it's I got to be careful, because it's not like I'm a victim or it's my fault,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a bad morality thing, and I should
It's not a
go
morality thing.
and
Yeah,
whip
yeah.
myself. It's not like that at all, right?
Yeah.
But it really is like if I am at the source, huh?
My eyes.
I just got something, and it's gonna sound a little woo, but if I am at the source, then I'm God, and not like but if I'm at the source of it, then I'm God. Like
Creator,
I
right?
creator, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm creator,
Yeah.
and if I'm creator, then all of
That's-
it is created. It's all my source.
Yeah, that's what I got,
Yeah.
That's really brilliant. That's what I got. I shared that incident with you like many times, right? Like in that moment, in that situation, I was not the one doing it, right? But it's when I accept it, I got something to do with it. The
Yeah.
person is upset.
Yeah.
Merely, it's not the first time I got people upset, and I just got there's something for me to get here. And
Yeah.
the moment I did, whole world opened up. I literally felt like there's nothing, and then there's world I create.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And from that point on, no matter how upset I get, no matter how, no matter what I'm dealing with, and we've been dealing with some big stuff, I can always kind of pull back into that.
Yeah.
And ask myself, not like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Nope. Just being that I'm a creator of this.
Yeah.
And I think, it's quite woo-woo. I think also something I heard not long ago, maybe on a soul level also, this was my assignment, as
Right.
the Course in Miracles
Right.
says, or like, what if my soul chose these kind of challenges as well, so that I can expand the way my soul wants to expand and grow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's beyond even humanity.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah. It's awesome. Great conversation.
Yeah. Very cool. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next week.